Okay, so Friday we were working on a program to take the difference of two dates. Did anybody write that program by chance?
I did.
Somebody want to paste it in Scratch and we'll see what we'll look at.
Sure. I mean, bring up webs on a second. Or maybe I can grab it off and get it up quickly. Almost there.
Should have been a pretty easy program. We just used time package. And there's a parse in here. So the idea is you parse the 2 times the user passes in, and then you subtract them using the sub function, which is right here. Gives you duration. You just convert that into days, and there you go. You can find the number of days between 2 days. Let's see. So I just made a week 2 folder, just because there was a lot of programs in there. This does not look like the. What is this stuff at the bottom?
So I had a minute. Oh, you're reading it. It's kind of a joke. I was using the sleep, and but the main stuff's at the top.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is going to work. Because the program was supposed to take it in as arguments, so.
Should you can paste mine off of my GitHub.
Yeah. So we have from to. Oops. Then we need to turn on the times. The format is, if you remember, it looks like a date. Now normally you do some of the errors, but I'm just going to ignore them. And then you just subtract 2 time dot sub from time. That gives you the duration. Just let's just say. Then you can divide that by time.hour times 24. It should work. Let's see if it works. So it's date diff. Go install, and then date diff. Let's say 01-15. 01-20. See, it said NS. That's because it thinks this is still a duration.
Still what?
A duration.
Okay.
So we have to convert it into an int. Right. So if we look at the type for time duration, it's an int64. So when you create a new type like this is telling you what the type's made out of, right? So the type is an int64, but they're different. They're different according to the compiler. So they're different types, even though they have the same underlying representation. So a duration is an int64, but because it has a different name and a different type, it means you can add methods to it. So a lot of people, when they see this, are thrown off because you cannot do this in most object-oriented programming languages that people typically use. What I mean is this is not an object, this is not a struct, this is an int64, but they have added methods to duration. One of those methods is string, okay? And what happens is when I do format printline, if the thing I passed in has a string method, it will call it, and it'll give you the string. And so what happened was when it said 5 nanoseconds, it ran this method, okay? Now, if it had been an int, it would not have run this method because ints don't have this method. Only durations have this method. And this guy gets kind of complicated.
So by casting it, you put it back to the int type, which doesn't have the string method.
Yep.
Could you copy that to Scratch, please?
So now just a try. Now, there's a lot of other issues with this that we could talk about, you know, daylight savings time and all kinds of weird stuff. This gives you the number of 24-hour intervals. It also doesn't round, it just gives you sort of the floor of it. Maybe we could fix that up, but the basic idea works, right? It's a pretty straightforward program to write. I just wanted to show you how to parse times and do stuff with them. There's a lot of other things in time we could look at that we did last time, but that's the basic idea. All right.
We might paste that to Scratch, please.
I did.
Oh, it's there?
Didn't
I'll
I?
see it.
I thought I did.
Let me, oh, I got it. Okay, good.
So for this week, we sort of covered everything about Go, like the language, last time. So this week we're going to start transitioning to doing web development with Go. So we're going to start seeing how to use Go to do web stuff. We still have a few small things we have to clean up before we get there that we haven't quite finished yet. I think Jason. I also want to talk about testing. Testing's a big deal, and some other stuff. But last week, Rio asked a question about where Go fit in sort of the ecosystem. This is more sort of a business question, not so much a programming question, and I think it's an important one. So I thought we could start out today just talking about why Go. Why would you want to use Go? What's it good for? What maybe you don't want to use it for? That kind of question. And I thought the first part of this, I think is important. It's an important thing about Go and why it was created, is that the language is relatively simple. It's a pretty minimalistic language, and it's very well defined. So we saw that with the spec. Okay, the spec declares in detail how the language works. That's important because a language like C did not start out as a very well-defined language. It eventually got a spec and eventually became clear, but as a side effect of that, there are parts of the language which are not clear. And the tendency is to just avoid the features of the language that aren't clear. So in C, what is the meaning of an int? Well, it depends on your compiler and your operating system and your platform. And so people tend to use special types that are very clear, right? And so there are warts in almost any language, even Go has a few. But what I'm saying is that in general, Go as a minimalistic and simple language has tried to be very careful about that and make it very clear what the meaning of something is. And I thought, you know, rather than me try to explain all that, I thought we could watch a video of Rob Pike, because I haven't shown you a video of Rob Pike. And Rob Pike's a guy worth listening to if you've never listened to him. So I think that's what we'll do now. And you can
Before
stop
you
the
drop
video.
capture the URL and the name of the video, and then stop it before